Well, here's my bracket I made. It's a piece of angle. I'll have to cut the front part off there to get a bolt in it, but it's lining up good down here on the frame. I'll have to fool around with it a little. It looks like I might have it a little high still, maybe not. It's straight, and I'm clearing everything, and I got enough room to put a nut on it there. So basically I need to clean it up a little and tack weld it to the frame. Don't look very strong, but because it is an angle, it's going to keep it from going back and forth. Anyway, I've got I think that's going to be plenty good, strong enough, and it's holding my alignment that I want here. And once that's on, then I can do something about hanging this back one. Yeah, looks like that's about where I need it. I'm clearing everything here. Might have to trim it just a little. Anyway, that's good enough for now. Poker today, so I'm kind of clean up my mess here. Come back tomorrow on Sunday and finish this thing up. Well, here's I don't know what this is, 1913 GMC, something like that. 6-cylinder, might be 30s. It's old gas hauling flatbed. But I made a deal here for this emergency brake handle. And so I'm going to take it off, and looks like it's all works pretty good. Let's see if I can adapt this to my old rat rod. Well, there's my beauty. It's a little catch down here is working good, and I salvaged one of the arms, a little clevis rod. I don't know if it's going to be too long, probably not. I figure out a way to mount it to the transmission, but I think it'll be just fine. Pretty old, but I think it'll be a nice rat rod deal. I'll take a drill in a wire brush and clean it up a little bit. Knock some of this heavy rust off. I'm gonna rust converter the whole thing, so I think it'll look nice. Oh, here it is, kind of cleaned up. I thought there's a spring in it, but looks like just weight is enough to lock the ratchet. And this little lever up here just moves it. But looks like about 4 inches a pull. That ought to be plenty. Now I'll see if it'll mount and fit my floorboard before I get too carried away. Well, don't have a whole hell of a lot of room for it. Looks like I'll have to mount the thing back here, back of the transmission. This up at this point is get a wider view here. Has to clear the dash, so it's got to go down that far. So it looks like that's where it's going to have to mount, back towards the back. I don't know, I could probably put it lower and get it, I think I've got this floor kind of in. Let me see if I can get around all my junk. Actually, can't tell what I'm moving. It looks like I'm moving transmission, but I don't think I am. It looks like that's down there pretty close to the transmission mount. Jam this in here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm a couple inches away from the dash, and I've got the main ratchet down in there pretty low. I think I can make a bracket down there to coming off the cross member to mount it. Let me crawl under there and see what it looks like. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Those bolts are a couple inches above the cross member. And you see the cable up there going around the transmission. That didn't do my camera any good. Well, that's pretty long. That's the center of the cable right there. I think if I mount that a couple inches closer to the transmission, or to the pan, a couple inches forward, my cable is almost going to be the right length to drop down and hook up. But anyway, I think that's a cool addition, and of course I'll have to make a opening in the transmission tunnel for it, so I have to figure out that and mount it before I put the transmission tunnel in. Well, I can pull this floorboard out of here for now and see what I got. Looks like I gotta cut the back of the drive line where it's going through right there in the floorboard. Anyway, I'll pull that floorboard out and see what kind of room I got. Well, that's kind of interesting. The bracket actually sits right on the cross member. I've got it about where it goes. I'm clearing the dash real good up there, about 3 or 4 inches, and it'll be a fairly short looking lever, and it'll still have plenty of strength. I might just tack weld that onto that cross member. But it's almost all the way forward. I got one more click forward, and I got 6 or 8 inches of pull there before it hits the seat, and it's out of the way. I can get to all my bolts there on the transmission. So anyway, that's a really nice mounting place for it. And so I can bring a bracket down from that front bolt straight down here, tack weld it on, or just weld it onto here. Just a flat piece of plate. The other one, I don't know about it. It's this yoke is kind of going around it. I think this arm was supposed to be much higher on the well, I don't think I know it was. Arm is supposed to be up like that. Well, that's still good right there. That's even better. I could just leave that, could just weld that arm to the cross member. Sure save a lot of mounting brackets. And this thing, yeah, because if I get it down here into this bolt, it's really, this arm needs to be up here somewhere. Looks like parallel. Yeah, I'll have to fool around with it. But anyway, the old emergency brake is gonna go in there and work just fine. I think I'll put some rust converter on it and let it dry. I got my new gallon stuff. We'll see what it looks like. Well, there's Mr. Handle, covered with rust converter. I just put it in this spray can here. You just put it on with a brush. I got some on the paint here, so I just hit it with a brush to see what it'll do. But it's actually just one coat. I'm going to put a little more on here. mostly just for this handle and try to make it look a little better. And got it all over the truck paint, so now I know where it's at. I'll just kind of brush it here and see what it'll do over this old paint. I'm actually going to do the whole truck with this stuff, but I'm just putting a double coat on it. It'll dry pretty fast. You want it to go on the dirt. It'll dry pretty fast out here in the sun. It won't go in the dirt, it'll just hit the board. Just make sure I got it on there good, and it will kind of leave brush strokes, so this bottom I don't really much care about, but this will give it more of an even. It was funny, it was rusted a lot more on one side than the other, but this rust converter works real good. I got some, here's a place with some steel and weld, and I just sprayed it, and I'll just coat this real quick, and when this dries I'll give you a little bit of a look, but it'll kind of give it a black look even on bare metal. Well, here it is dried. Looks pretty good. You can see the brush strokes in it, but it's got a nice surface to it. Looks pretty good, and you can see what it does to bare metal. Turns it black. Still see brush strokes. I tried it with a spray gun, that works good too. It rusts black, and bare metal kind of a bluish black, but I think it's going to look good. I'm going to do the whole truck like that. Probably ought to clean up that door and do it. Of course, that's another project. I think I'll wait till I can drive it around a little bit and blow all the dirt and stuff off of it first. And anyway, I'll get back in here and make me a mount for that emergency brake. Well, I tacked it in, and looks pretty good. I've got probably right there's the fully locked position, straight up, and it goes forward to there. I got that a little close to the transmission pan. But anyway, I'm going to make me a bracket with a hole in it for this bolt. I don't know if I'm going to be able to clear that bolt or not. Don't look like it. Not the angle I got it. And this is pretty tight. I might be able to get a bolt in there or something. But the force is going to be going down onto the motor mount, the transmission mount, and if I make me a bracket right here and weld it real good to this, I'm sure that'll be plenty strong for emergency brake. I got 3 inches of leverage and 2 foot of handle, so that ought to be enough to lock the brakes up for sure. Anyway, find me some good steel and make me a bracket, weld it on, and I'll break it loose from there and just bolt it in. We'll see what happens. I get the first bracket on first. Now I put a goodly amount of weld into that, and my bracket's going from near the floor to almost straight up, and at straight up it's hitting the stop there. I don't really have that bolt loose, but I've got almost a full throw. I am hitting that little vacuum canister just a little bit. Of course, I don't know what'll happen if this motor's rotating around. If I have to, I could put a couple washers and move it over that way, but it's going up and hitting the transmission there right at the end of the stop, and I think that's going to be plenty to pull that brake line loose. And I can take my bolt out and disconnect that lever so the transmission mount will fall out. It's not welded to it at all. It looks like it's welded to it, but it's not. That's just a piece of weld. I tacked it. But I'll let this cool off and pull that bolt out of there and grind that area right in the middle off. That bracket is not that strong. It should have one on the other side as well, but I'm getting over into the mount part. I may make another one and put in it, but that'll be something I can do while I'm under the car. And this is what I could just reach straight here right now, but looks pretty cool. Old-timey brake handle. Yeah, kind of matches everything. And floorboard's going to work fine with his new roommate. Just a little trim in there. I'll have to modify the transmission tunnel, of course, but it looks like that's a perfect place for it. Yeah, looks real nice. Plenty good. I've got some lights here. I can't really decide where to put them. These are a takeoff off of some kind of new truck or something. I don't know if I ought to put them down on the left there or put them up and cover those reflectors. Down on the left is going to be hard for the license plate to be seen. And I think I'd be better off just taking these old busted reflectors off of here. This gate ain't going anywhere anyway, and I'll have to try to mount them somehow by screwing into the gate. But the license plate's kind of the killer deal, and I can just bore 2 holes right there for those bolts, and 1 hole for the wire, and just mount them right there. They'll kind of stick out a little, but I think it's alright. it just looks a little cleaner with them in the middle. It would probably look good with, you know, 40 Ford small round tail lights in there, but these were cheap. I don't know, 20-30 bucks for both of them. So I'll mount them first and see what it looks like. I decided to put them where those old lights were. I had them on and had them upside down. The reason why is because the tail light, license plate light, is on the bottom. Anyway, they're on and straight. I had to drill this one here twice. I had it about an inch off. I had put it on upside down when I marked it. Anyway, they look pretty decent. It's I'm a firm believer in big brake lights. So anyway, if somebody wants to change them, it's easy enough. And for me, this is super bright backlights, and I like that. Well, there's my bracket welded in good. I'm sure that's going to be strong enough. I cut this enough to get a wrench back there. This thing's going to have a nut on it. Should be out about right here. But might be a little bit of a problem, but I could get a wrench on it. I have to be able to tighten it, of course. And it's super strong. I welded it really good. Yeah, it's something about a MIG welder, just makes life so much better. Well, this U-joint here is weld to weld. If I tack any of this together, I gotta make sure that I can get it all out. So that would mean this shaft is one piece, and I got enough room there to pull it out. So I just marked this up again with where I got my clearance. This U-joint is going to be the double D to weld. To two double D's, this last one here. But that's where that arm needs to go, so I can start mocking me a bracket up for this heim joint here. And it looks like I just come up off the frame and I'll figure that out and weld something in. I went to make my bracket for that back heim joint, and I found an old brake shoe here. I've chiseled all the shoe off of it. I got enough room here to drill a big hole in it, and whether I leave these little tabs on here or not, we'll see. But right now I'm just going to grind it off and clean off the stuff that's on it. And that's that one. It ain't going nowhere. And I got plenty of room to put my nuts on either end of it and adjust it. I've got enough clearance here, plus I can move the shaft in and out some for the next universal joint, and matter of fact, yeah, I got plenty of room there for that. And I ordered a bearing support for the lower column. I might have to pull that thing out of there and cut it again. It's 3/4, but there's really no reason I have to have that shaft sticking all the way out, and I can probably move this over a few degrees, but I'm a pretty decent angle here, and I've got, like I say, an adjustment there. This one's going to be good enough. It's funny, you know, somebody that knows will look at that and say, I'll be damned, and that guy welded a brake pad in there. That's exactly what it is. I'm not gonna cut it off or clean it up or anything unless it interferes with something. But anyway, there's my 2 braces. They're in and welded solid. So, and I'm clearing my headers here good. I got plenty of adjustment on this one, and if I have to move it in or out, I can just hit that with a hammer and bend it. This one moves in and out with a screw. I can't go up and down on it, but this one will change the angle. So I probably got about, I don't know, 15-degree angle here. I'm clearing my A-arm good. This one here is clearing good. That's good and solid. I can get a little more angle out of it like that. But as far as rough goes, that's straight. Plenty good enough until I get some nuts on it. And I won't have to worry too much about this next universal joint up here. That's doesn't look like too much of an angle, like maybe 20 degrees. So I think this is going to give me really seriously strong steering. And it looks pretty decent. You know, it'll main thing is that it's good and solid and strong, and my welds are real good. You know, they look good and they're solid. Somebody will kind of look at that and say, oh well, you know, the guy welded pretty good, which he did. Looks like my exhaust pipe is hitting down in there. I'll still have to move that motor around. I think I could move it over to the right a little bit. So I guess that's it for the day. Got my emergency brake lever in, my tail lights on, and next to the last step of the steering done. This was the main headache right here, trying to figure out how I was going to clear everything, but looks like I did. And I don't know, there might be something wrong with that steering box. I'll try to adjust it, but I really don't care. If I have to, I'll buy a new one. It's $100. And then that'll solve the steering problems for sure.